How important is for you as an adult to look after your own mental health? If you're a parent of an anxious child, you know how crucial it is to be there for your children. But here is something that we often overlook is the fact that before we truly manage or help them manage their anxiety, we have to take care of ourselves, right? Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Anna Biavati, a highly specialized speech and language therapist. And today I'm so excited. I have a special guest, Dr. Jen Johansson, and she is a dentist, but she is a true enthusiast for self-development. And I just want to tell you a little bit about it, and then you'll meet her. So Dr. Jen has walked through her own journey with anxiety. And let's be honest, who hasn't? Seasonal depression and even a heartbreaking loss of a young family member. Through all these experiences, she has really worked on herself and learned powerful strategies for mental health and emotional resilience. And you know how many videos I have about resilience and self-esteem, but this is just not for your child, it's for everybody. So at just 15, she had, though, an extraordinary moment of peace that later became a key to handling life ups and downs. So she explored her own beliefs, insecurity, and triggers, and then she learned to tap into that calm no matter how overwhelming things get. I'm sure she will say that she has some bad days, right? So please let me know in the comment below, do you get stressed? Because I have to say, as a mama of a child that has recovered selective mutism, I still go through stress, right? So I came across her through Instagram, and I'm still asking myself, how's that happened? So I watch her reels, that's what they're called, every day. And she is so passionate about helping parents support themselves. And then I'm sure that among all those parents, there are children that they're anxious among those families. So in this video, she is going to share some practical tools to help you as the adult improve your mood, find balance, and better navigate stressful times. So without further ado, here is Dr. Jen.
Hi, thank you so much for that. And I'm just going to share one thing real quick before you start. I know we have some questions to go over, but I've only been creating content for a few months, and this is something that I've dreamt of for years, but I didn't really know how to put the pieces together. And to see this come to life and hear you share what I have started to share, it's just incredibly meaningful. So thank you.
You're very welcome. It comes across so natural. And you will find in the description below everything about Dr. Jen and where you can find her. And yeah, you just do it in the most natural way because you've been through that, right? But the parents, my community really just wants to find, understand and get tips. So how do you think that parents can manage their own anxiety so they can better support their child?
So I'm going to give you a framework that's been incredibly helpful for me. If you are on social media looking at accounts, anything like mine, I'm sure you've seen the word nervous system explode in the last few years. A lot of people are talking about nervous system health. There's a lot of misconceptions, but I'm going to give a framework that I found really helpful and then some quick tools. And that framework is called story follows state. Have you ever heard of this?
Yes.
Or maybe from my content. So when our body is in an authentic state of relaxation, our thoughts are empowered. Our thoughts are, I've got this, I'm capable. When our body is in a state of fight flight, our thoughts are like, there's danger lurking, or there's never enough time, or there's just more going on than I can handle. That's where the anxiety sits. When our body, our physiology is in a state of freeze or shutdown, which can happen from chronic stress, our thoughts are defeated. Our thoughts are, I'm not enough. What's the point? I should quit. This has been so powerful for me because I used to struggle with anxiety, and understanding that it was my body, not my mind, was a really big paradigm shift. So I'm just going to go through a few quick tools that have helped me bring my body into a calmer state. And I will also say, before I jump into the tools, it's really common to not have a baseline state of calm that you can relate to or harness. I think I was stuck in a chronic fight, flight, freeze type of response for a decade or more, going through dental school and residency and the first few years of private practice, which were brutal. So if this is not something that works for you immediately, I've been there. I'm just going to put that out there, but some tools. So this is a basic one. A lot of people know this, but slow, deep belly breaths. I like to do it with a hand over my heart and a hand over my belly. The exhale being slow is really important, and nasal breathing is really important. When we breathe in and out of our mouth, it actually increases a sympathetic or an activated response in our nervous system, and the nasal breathing takes our physiology to that calmer place. Similarly, a practice of something called Qigong. There's a guy on YouTube named Lee Holden. There's a few 10-minute videos that I love, but it's mindful movement where you're integrating your body and your breath at the same time. And I've found that physiological movement of my body to go a really long way. He uses the phrase transform stress into vitality. Because when you think about it, stress and vitality are both energy. But if we can shift that stress energy into something that's empowering us and serving us, it can go a long way. And then two last things on this question. One of the things that's helped me a ton in this process is learning something called orienting, which is simply mindfully being present and tuning into our environment. I have a reminder on my phone that goes off twice a day that just says, pause, breathe. And when I see that go off, I close my eyes or I look around the room slowly. This is something that I do for like 30 seconds or less. It's not a big practice, but I take in my environment. I feel the surface beneath my body. I engage my senses. I might think about the day or the time. Now, that might sound really boring, but what's so powerful about this is when we get good at it, then when we get triggered, we have a way, this like muscle, the skill that we've built to be able to stay present with that discomfort. And that's how that stress can actually pass through us and leave our body. Lastly, I talk about being overstimulated a lot as a parent. My kids are 2 and 5. I have 2 boys and they're loud. And I never struggled with overstimulation until I had kids. But I wear these things in my ears. I'm actually just going to take one out right now and hold it up to the screen. This is called a flare calmer. This is a little piece of rubber that I got on Amazon, $25. They tune out high frequency pitches like kids' voices or the handpiece at a dental office without blocking sound. So again, for my body, for my physiology, having a way to bring down stimulation has helped with my anxiety a lot.
I think that we live in a world where everything is so fast and we have so many things to do. And what I hear my parents saying, life is hard as a parent. And on top of it, my child is so anxious, freezes, I don't know what to do. And, I'd really want my child to speak because they're speaking at home and they're so live at home, but not outside. And I can so relate. And I say to them, observe how you are in that moment, observe how your child is, and be present for them, holding their hands or giving something that means something to them. And I love to empower parents because we are the expert of our children. So I've seen thousands of children over the past 30 years. However, I will never know enough. I know enough about my children. So this is just incredible, even just to model the breathing. We'll model them the breathing. But do you know, Dr. Jen, what sometimes we hear is, are you breathing? But that is anxiety provoking in itself.
Yes.
It's just like, right, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do that star breathing or circle breathing or whatever, Iron Man breathing, whatever your child likes. So I absolutely love it. And in fact, I would like the audience to think about it. Which one have you tried? Because when you think of mindfulness, you hear about star breathing, circle breathing, tummy breathing, but any breathing, this is what already I'm going to thinking is feel where your feet are, take a breath, and kind of take a look of where you are. I absolutely love it. Now, what are the tools that parents can use to help improve their own baseline mood and then return to it when life gets more stressful?
I love this question too. So I'm going to circle back to the story follows state concept and build a little bit of something different off of that. So I, for years, like I said, was stuck in a combination of this anxious mode, this hurry mode, which a lot of us are culturally just because our modern life is busy. And then this freeze shutdown mode, which is like this defeated mode. I really wasn't getting out of fight, flight, or freeze into rest, digest. Once I understood this, I started to be able to understand what each of those states feel like. So, rest, digest for me is how I feel when I'm with like my dearest friends and it's late at night and no one has makeup on and we're visiting each other for the weekend and you just have your mask down and you're connecting to people. That rest digest feeling is different for everybody. I also feel it when I'm alone and like my to-do list is relatively okay and I'm just deciding to put the rest off for the day and I get to like sit and read a book for a little bit. Fight flight is that feeling of gosh, there's like I could never get all this stuff done. I'm just overwhelmed, which sometimes we do have that much to do, but sometimes it's the state of our body making us have those thoughts. So that's a really important distinction. And then the freeze shutdown for me, for years, I described it as a funk. And I really didn't understand it until a couple of years ago. That was just a physiological response in my body, but it feels more like shame, embarrassment. It feels really icky. Once you can learn to know where you are, you can start to identify tools that help you, your body, based on those states. So, some common tools are like going for a walk, taking a bath, taking a nap, or simply getting things done off of your to do list. But different things work for different people. So, here's what I've noticed works for me. When I am in fight flight, mindless house tasks do wonders for my physiology. The movement kind of helps me carry out that kind of anxious energy. So I might fold laundry, I might wash dishes, I might tidy up. But like that energy kind of starts to dissipate from just engaging it. If I'm in freeze shutdown and I'm able to just completely rest, like sleep, like if I can nap and I'm in that state, that's what works for me best. This is not always possible when we're raising children. And that's the case in our house too. I can't always just stop what I'm doing and do these things. However, my husband and I have been on this journey together and we're able to communicate. By the way, we've been in couples therapy for 15 months. So our marriage has taken work. We're not just in this place where we can fluidly communicate automatically. It's taken a lot of work, but we're able to communicate to each other where we're at and give each other those breaks when we need them. But start to tune in. Like, if you're having that kind of day where you just feel like there's more to do than you could possibly get done, my thought would be pause, think about if there's validity to that, which there might be, or if it's a more of like a mind racing thing. If there's validity to it, your tool might be just trying to get off social media for the rest of the day, tune things out, just get your things done. If it's more of your mind spinning, then the tool might be taking a small walk, doing a 10-minute Qigong video or a yoga video. So yeah, understanding our nervous system map would be my main tool for that.
So it sounds like that there are many tools. I would say the first one is trying to understand where you're at in those 3 states.
Yes.
Because whatever ticks for you might not tick for me. I have to say I'm very similar to you. And when I'm in that kind of state of flight or fright and I feel it, so that is not in the freeze mode, I'm a doer. So yeah. I've got to do the list, do things, going up and down the stairs, cut the grass, whatever that is physical, I have to explode it, let it out. That what works for me. And it is about being in tune with ourselves, what works for us. Because then what happens again when your child is having a terrible time, your mom comes to see you, your child does not speak to your mom because is scared of speaking even to the grandma, then you take that very personally, in whatever state you're at, then that is going to show. So that totally makes sense for me. So, but what are some of the tools to shift the chit chat that we have in our head? Since it's really common from a really early age, and then obviously much more when we're older, to doubt ourselves as parents. So then we become parents and we're no longer good. So one of the things that I hear is, I'm not very good, or I've caused this. And so then if we don't believe in ourselves, what can people maybe try in
I
order to
love that.
shift?
And I'm just going to start by saying I'm still a work in progress on this. And
On work in
especially
progress.
since I've
Yeah.
started creating content, imposter syndrome comes up. So I've had this whole new like wave of exploring self-doubt on a whole new level. But so a thing that helped me a lot that I learned in my early 20s, I don't even remember what book I read it in, but just so the first step in all of this is just like being able to pause and tune into your thoughts, which I know a lot of people aren't doing on a regular basis. So start there. But then it is so common to have thought patterns that are or not and, but what I mean by that is we have these beliefs like, if I'm going to be a good mom, it means I can't take care of myself. If I'm going to be a good mom, it means I can't lean into my career. I'm just giving two examples based on this, but this can be like extrapolated to any part of our lives. It's just kind of how we're wired. Learning to shift that to an and, which all I mean by that is like pausing early in probably in my, I guess, early 20s. I remember thinking like, how can I have a meaningful profession, but not have that ever feel like a sacrifice to my family or to myself? Like I want to be able to feel like an adult, like a human myself as I raise my family. I don't want it to be this race and this blur. And then one day they leave the house and what was it all for? So I think switching out that to an and early on has helped me take blinders off and like see opportunity to make things easier or more efficient or help me trust the process more, to switch out the ors for an and. And then the last thing I'm going to share today, which is my all-time favorite tool for all three of these questions, but I left it under the self-talk section because that's truly what the heart of it is. But as humans, all of us, our greatest struggles tend to come from the belief that we are not enough. And some of the most externally successful people are the ones who struggle with this the most because they're always seeking subconsciously a feeling of safety and belonging, but it manifests as like being a workaholic or maybe a celebrity who's done a lot of movies. But it's a type of success that lacks fulfillment and meaning and confidence. I learned about this concept from a celebrity hypnotherapist named Marissa Peer, and she's got a lot of really great content on YouTube, but she recommends writing I am enough everywhere. And I do this. I have it on both of my bathroom mirrors. I have it on my fridge. I have it as the wallpaper of my phone. I used to have it as reminders that would go off during the day on my phone, and I don't anymore. But being in front of that message so often has helped me not only have my self-talk be healthier, but the quote unquote volume of my mental chatter is so much lower. Like instead of having these spinning thoughts about like self-doubt and judging other people, then judging myself for judging the other person, and this whole loop we get in, this really has helped just bring that all down to such a manageable level.
I could listen to you for hours, and I
Thank
do
you.
because I
Thank
do
you.
regularly binge watch your short videos because they are short and because that's the nature of Instagram. So I'm ever so grateful for the time. And I know that you share much more and you open this to people. So in the description below this video, you will find all the links for Dr. Jen. Reach out, binge watch, contact, because actually you get at the other end somebody that is not only professional, but really a true person that can understand and can guide you in what is everyday stress. Now, can we get a cure for anxiety. I always say, welcome it and
Yeah.
personify it and kind of going, oh, are you back? All right, it must be one of those days. And you know me with my faces, and I try to gamify everything for kids. But this is my message is when your child says, I don't want to talk, I can't talk, or this is so hard, you have to welcome it and say, thank you for sharing that with me. I totally appreciate it. And I wanted you to tell you that your brain you is brave and you're going to find it no matter what that looks like. Instead of, can you just try to say hello? So I would like to say thank you to Dr. Jen. If you've got any
You're welcome.
questions, please put them below. And I'm really so excited. You know that I post every week. So please keep following, subscribe because that's really helpful, and share with those that you think might find that useful. Thank you so much.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.